What is up, everybody? It's your girl Nia, the video game her, and I'm so mad because I was like 20 minutes into this video before I realized that my mic was on mute. I'm not too happy about that, but I'm gonna go over and talk about what was discussed. So I'm gonna start off talking about the Rebirth book, since I actually am behind about like maybe 2 or 3 weeks on the books that I am keeping up with. So I'm gonna give you guys a lowdown on what Rebirth books came out last week and which ones came out yesterday. So last week, and these are just the ones that I'm following. Like, more came out, but these are just the ones that I'm currently following right now. So Batgirl number 3 came out. Blue Beetle number 1 came out. Deathstroke number 3, The Flash number 7, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps number 5, Hellblazer number 2, Suicide Squad number 3, Teen Titans Rebirth, officially the Rebirth title is out, number 1, Titans number 3, and Wonder Woman number 7. Those are what came out last week. So this week, what came out was Aquaman number 8, Batman number 8, Cyborg number 2, which I do want to keep up with Cyborg because I am liking what I'm seeing with Cyborg. One that I'm really excited for, just because of one cameo from Justice League Unlimited, my boy Deadman, Dark Mansion of Forbidden Love number 1 is out, came out yesterday. I was so excited when I saw the Deadman was getting another book, because he made just one appearance in Justice League Unlimited, and after that I was like, I need to know more about this character. And for those of you guys who don't know Deadman, I don't know Deadman either, but based on the context of what I saw in Justice League Unlimited when he made his appearance, he's a dead guy. You know, he's a spirit floating around looking for penance either for his past, or he's trying to come back to the world of the living to make it right. I don't know what happened to this man, but I really want to read more on him. And so this would be a perfect opportunity for me to come and check it out and see what he's about. And I remember after seeing him in Justice League Unlimited, I did end up getting DC Universe Presents, which is an old book that came out in like 2011, 2012 during the New 52 era and things like that. But I didn't read it, man. Y'all know how it is when you a gamer. Like, gaming takes up so much of your life that when you try to do something else that's time consuming, like comics, like one of them gotta give. Like, and here lately I've been so addicted to that game, Paladins. Me and my boy Actors in Gaming and my homie Digital Man been going hard body on Paladins. Like, that's literally all we do in our spare time. So I really got some catching up to do when it come down to these comics thing. Let me see. My boy Hawkman is getting a book. I forgot he was getting a book titled The Death of Hawkman. The Death of Hawkman number 1 just came out yesterday. Looking forward to my boy, my Thanagarian brother. Yes, let's do it. Green Arrow number 8 came out. Green Lanterns number 8 with my boy Simon Bass, my homegirl Jessica Cruz. You know how I feel about my Green Lanterns, y'all. Justice League number 6 came out. Midnighter and Apollo. I know there's a lot of people out there who are looking forward to Midnighter and Apollo getting their own series. Nightwing number 6, and Superman, which I'm actually dropping. I'm taking out of my pull list because I can't with Superman anymore. His whole arc right now is all kinds of, I can't, man. I just can't do Superman no more. So I'm taking him out of my pool list. But some of you guys out there who might be interested in Superman, he did just get a new book yesterday. So I want to also talk about Suicide Squad. Did y'all know that Suicide Squad was getting an extended cut? Like, why? First of all, I personally actually didn't have a problem with Suicide Squad. I did find it enjoyable. I think that Suicide Squad is at least a good 6.5, 7 out of 10 movie. For me, I found it enjoyable. I walked out of the theater with a smile on my face. Was it perfect? Definitely not. But there were some things about Suicide Squad that I thoroughly enjoyed. That being said, a lot of people did not like it. And I feel like, especially considering that WB has already told us that they weren't planning on making an extended cut for Suicide Squad, this just real, it looks real silly for them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, If they would just make a good movie off top in the theatrical release, an extended cut wouldn't be as controversial as it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though I enjoyed the movie, I feel that having an extended cut version of a movie that the masses weren't really feeling, it just kind of looks tasteless. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like a last ditch effort to try to make whatever you made palatable to the masses. To me, it's just corny. Like, why would you do that? Like, leave well enough alone. Start over with Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman is gonna be the savior to the DCEU. That's my opinion, just based on the trailers. Let Suicide Squad be what it is. Let Batman vs Superman be what it was, and just keep it moving. Like, why? Don't do this to yourself. And I understand that Suicide Squad was very profitable. Like, it made a lot of money. It sold a lot of paraphernalia, and maybe that's the reason why they're making an extended cut. But in the eyes of like comic fans everywhere, and even just movie fans everywhere, it just looks like a cop-out way of getting people on a large scale to try to like your movie. Like, just, it's okay, just move on, it's fine. Like, just stop, please. Luke Cage, yes, I'm all caught up on Luke Cage. I binge watched it over the weekend, and I have to say that Luke Cage is very, very good. It's a very authentic show. And one of the things that really impressed me about Luke Cage is they were not afraid to go there. You know, like, in this age and time where everybody is so conscious of offending people, and in some ways I think it's a good thing, because there's a lot of things that do affect people, you know what I'm saying, on a wide scale, like racism. That's something we definitely need to talk about. But there's a lot of times where people will kind of try to keep the peace at the expense of muffling out conversations that need to actually happen. And in my opinion, Luke Cage went there. It talked about something that was very current, for one, which I think is actually a really good coincidence that it came out around the same time as a lot of all of these police brutality cases and things like that. And there's a conversation right now that needs to be had, and I feel like Luke Cage is really important to furthering that conversation. And, you know, it's very authentic too. The way that it's written like real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, me as a black person, the way that they talk is like, this is stuff that I hear people in my community talk to each other every day, or how we talk to each other every day. You know what I mean? So the way that they presented Harlem as one of the birthplaces of black culture and black music, black art, you know what I'm saying, like, was very, very good. I like the contrast between that and then also some of the not so good sides of heavily populated black communities, like poverty, and how that poverty and the stressors of living in those type of environments relate to gang and gun violence. You know what I mean? Like, those topics were very heavy in Luke Cage. It's something that I really appreciated. I like the way that they showed the different dynamics in black culture and the different dynamics and what goes on in the black community, because I mean, I feel like so often in media and movies, people paint black people with one brush, and we're such a diverse group of people, we're such a diverse culture of people, and I think that Luke Cage wholeheartedly encompasses that in one series, in one Netflix series. I think the way they did it was great, and one of the reasons I wanted to watch Luke Cage was for that reason, to see how they were going to tackle that, and they did not disappoint me. And despite my qualms with Netflix shows, because I don't really like the Marvel shows, I'll be honest with you. I think they're kind of boring. You know, I watched the entire season 1 of Daredevil to give it a chance. Wasn't really feeling it. Season 2 was a little bit better, but it wasn't that much better that made me want to keep watching. But maybe I'll go back to it, because it did seem like it was better than season 1. I have no interest in Jessica Jones. So Luke Cage is pretty much how I would probably be consuming that version of Marvel, aside from their movies. But just to kind of talk about how I felt about Luke Cage in general, aside from those positives, the way that they did some of the villains I didn't really like too much. Like, there was a central villain in the first half of the show, like the first 6 or 7 seconds, by the name of Cornell Stokes, aka Cottonmouth. He was a great villain. He had depth. Like, they made you feel for him. They showed you the different dynamics of how his childhood was. He was a person with great potential. He was a great artist, a great pianist, And he was also from a family full of drug lords. His grandmama was an OG, like ruthless, savage OG. And instead of nurturing that artistic side of him, instead she kind of forced him to kind of take on that family tradition, the family name of getting into that gangster life. You know what I'm saying? Like, she had home dude when he was a teenager, like killing people, you know what I'm saying? And that wasn't his nature, you know what I'm saying? He was an artist. He wanted to be an artist, a music artist. And they kind of showed you some of that in his character. And not only that, but he was a villain with a code, you know what I mean? Like, he would get down and dirty. He would do some undercut stuff, some underneath the table type of stuff, like gun deals. You know what I'm saying? He would kill people if he needed to, but at the same time, he had a code. You know what I mean? And I guess the best example of that would be Luke Cage works for this elderly man who runs a barbershop. And the way that they kind of set it up in the show was that the barbershop was Switzerland, meaning it was a neutral place where, you know, people from the community could come in, get their hair cut, you know what I'm saying, talk about what was going on in their life and just kind of chill, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was a real laid back place where Pops would give, you know, local kids in the community a job. Like, there was a young Latino man in the show, and he would come in sometimes and he would, you know, help Pops cut hair. Or, you know, some people would come in and, you know, do just kind of chill. Or, you know, like Luke would clean up and kind of help keep the barbershop tidy and things like that. Pops was that driving force, actually the catalyst between why Luke Cage became a hero in the first place, because Pops is the only person who knew about Luke's abilities, that, you know, he's a bulletproof man, he's real strong, you know what I'm saying, and he wanted Luke to go out into the community and try to clean it up, because at this point in time there's a lot of stuff going on in the community. And I guess the best way to do it is like back in the day, you know what I'm saying, like if you were on some gangster stuff, like you was doing some illegal stuff to try to get by to make it, like there was always a code, you know what I'm saying, no women, no children, no elderly, you know what I'm saying, like there was a code to it. If there was some stuff going on between you and another person, you know what I'm saying, you dealt with it man to man, you know what I'm saying, hand to hand. You don't go outside of that box and, you know, and mess with people, you know what I'm saying, close to that person. Like, there was a code. And they kind of showed how it was with like some old gangster stuff to like this new age stuff where these young cats ain't got no respect for the older crowd. They have no respect for women and children. They kind of just run reckless and kind of do whatever they want to do. And they did touch on that, which I was really impressed about in Luke Cage. And I mean, I guess like kind of like my upbringing, like I come from a neighborhood, I come from like poor economic backgrounds, you know what I'm saying, like I was raised in like the projects and stuff like that, and a lot of the stuff that they talked about, I was like, yo, that's real, that's real. Like, it was just real authentic. Like, the way they talked to each other, the way they interacted with each other was so authentic. And then of course they also talked about the other aspect of what black culture is going through right now, and even what we always been going through, is police brutality. You know what I'm saying? The dynamics between how the police see us as a culture. Man, Luke Cage is deep, y'all. Deep. Anyway, going back to the villains. So Cottonmouth is a villain with a code. And the way that they developed him was very well. And then unfortunately, the way that they did him, they hold him in the show. Spoiler alert. If you don't want spoilers, don't watch this. They killed dude. I was not happy about that. To me, the show began and ended with Cottonmouth. Cottonmouth was like the peak of the show to me. They introduced another character, Diamondback, towards the later half of the show, which I felt was a weaker villain. He wasn't as developed, and they did kind of rush into his backstory, if you even want to call it that. I felt like it was kind of weak. His whole premise was that he was basically jealous of Luke Cage because they shared the same dad, but Diamondback was a bastard child. Luke Cage was a product of his mom and dad's marriage. And the way that they kind of did it was kind of whack. And the wackest part is that in the beginning half of the show, they mentioned Diamondback a lot. He was supposed to be this like top dog, you know, this crime lord and things like that. And then when they actually introduced Diamondback's character, he was whack, he was corny. And like, I understand that it's supposed to harken back to those old blaxploitation days back in the 70s where everybody was real flamboyant and over the top, but dude was corny, cornball, like personified. Like, home dude was nowhere near the looming threat that was Cottonmouth. And I felt like Cottonmouth did not reach his potential. The way that they did him was so dirty, and I didn't like it. Like, overall, I like Luke Cage. I like the show. I don't like what they did with Diamondback. It was whack. It was whack. But I am looking forward to season 2. I will say that The Flash and Arrow came out this week, and boy, yes. Flash came out with a blaze. I think that the Flashpoint episode, which was only that one episode, I feel like that was kind of a missed opportunity to a degree. Even though I did enjoy the Flash premiere, they could have done more with Flashpoint. And I understand, you know, that the whole point of Flashpoint was for Barry to kind of see how playing with the timeline could have repercussions. Just the way that they did it in the TV show in comparison to like the comics, or even Flashpoint Paradox, the movie, if you've seen the movie, was kind of weak. And I'm not gonna get into the whole spiel because, you know, some people are real nitpicky about it. Like, they're mad, like, oh, this happened and this happened. Well, look, all of the characters involved in Flashpoint are not in the CW universe. Like, Wonder Woman ain't there, Aquaman ain't there, Batman ain't there. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of characters that were in the actual Flashpoint that ain't there, and it can't be replicated because they're not there. I'm not mad at that. But, you know, the whole thing with Flashpoint is that when Barry messes up the timeline, everybody that he knows and loves is supposed to have like a jacked up life. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't really like that in the way that they portrayed it in the TV show. In the TV show, like, everything's going good for pretty much everybody, but like Barry comes to the conclusion that, oh shoot, my life is good, but I'm having these flashbacks to like the actual timeline, things that actually happened, and I'm losing those memories, and I'm losing, you know, like, myself. And that's what makes him realize, okay, I gotta do something about this. And in Flashpoint, the TV show, Wally West was finally a Flash. He was the Flash in their timeline, in the new timeline. And they would kind of poke at him like, okay, well, since Barry is here and he's the Flash, that makes you Kid Flash. He's like, I'm not Kid Flash, I'm the Flash. But everybody's like, yeah, okay, whatever. I thought that was pretty funny, man. And just the way that they set it up for the following seasons, that's really what has me the most excited, because Rival, who is Jay Garrick villain, showed up, and I didn't like his costume, but that's neither here nor there. He was only supposed to be there for one episode, so I'm not tripping. So Rival shows up, Eric Claris, and at the end of the show, after Barry tried fixing the timeline, which isn't really not really fixed, but you know how that goes in the Flash. There was a voice that says, "Wake up, Claris," or something like that. So Claris wakes up out of his bed, and he goes to the mirror, and on the mirror there was just like the words alchemy being wrote out, and nobody was there. These words were just writing themselves, alchemy. And I'm just like, oh shit, what's about to happen? So I got a couple theories of what I think is about to happen. So me and my homeboy Marquise, shout outs to my homie Bonquise, you can check him out on YouTube as well as Twitch. We thought maybe it was gonna be Dr. Alchemy, and if it's Dr. Alchemy, that would be great because it's not another speedster. It is somebody that could propose a threat to Barry without using speed as a factor, and that intrigues the hell out of me, man. And then we were thinking, after we thought about it some more, okay, somebody wrote out alchemy on a mirror. Nobody was there. Who could it be? Mirror Master. Like, tears are about to come out my eyes because I'm thinking about how hyped this gonna be. if this is the version of Mirror Master that uses mirrors as little pocket dimensions where he can transport to any place with a reflection of a mirror that he wants to go to, my boy, who else could have did it? My boy Mirror Master gotta be in there somewhere, or maybe Dr. Alchemy and Mirror Master are in cahoots with each other. What? Now see, that's the thing that I'm most excited for The Flash. It's not the actual episode itself, which I did enjoy. It's what's coming next, who I think is coming next. If what happens what I think is gonna happen, boy, my boy, that's gonna be fire. Oh my god, season 3 is gonna be a beast. Oh my god. But man, I mean, I know I'm getting so giddy about this stuff, but yo, so much potential is there. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop fangirling, and I'm gonna move on to Arrow. So Arrow came on last night. My boy Arrow is back. He is back, boy. So the way that Arrow starts off is everybody gone, right? There's no Diggle. Thea is kind of like, I'm kind of done with that vigilante life. Of course, my girl Black Canary dead, which I still don't like. But I'm coming back to that. Pretty much everybody who was there with, Team Arrow last season is gone. The only person who's still around is Felicity. But she ain't annoying this time. She's actually okay now. Like, she's starting to come back to her stuff where she's the tech person and she's helping Oliver find, the villains and the criminals and stuff through her little database things like that. That's what she's supposed to do. Stay in your lane, Felicity. I know it sounds like I'm hating on her, but they turned somebody that I loved into a character I absolutely hate. So I'm really hoping that not only does Arrow redeem himself as the title character this season, but also Felicity redeems herself as well. So Arrow is basically going solo with the help of Felicity in the background. My boy got his quiver on deck. Now, that's one of the things that I was the most excited for when I saw Arrow. His quiver is on deck and his fighting style is on deck. My boy is back. That fight choreography was on point. I was like, look at my boy, Oliver Queen doing it as my boy Green Arrow. Yes. And then going back to the quiver, like the diversity in his quiver was so OD. I was like, that's my boy. My boy had exploding arrows. My boy had arrows that hack into systems. My boy had a parachute arrow. My boy had an arrow that grappled onto buildings and he swung across that thing. My boy was on it. That's what I like to see. That's the Green Arrow I know. And even though this is not necessarily a deal breaker for me, my boy has gone back to killing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really think that Arrow has to kill, but he's going back to killing. Like, he's going back to that ruthless Arrow. Like, he's jaded because his girl Black Canary is dead. My boy is back in form. Like, oh my god. So I'm excited. And so, throughout the whole season, Felicity is trying to convince Oliver to get some new vigilantes to team up with. Thea suited up for a little bit in the show, but she changed her mind about being a vigilante because, she had been out of the suit for so long. She was finally starting to feel like herself again before she became Speedy. And I can understand that. I respect Thea for that. You know what I'm saying? Because really, Thea, she was never really about that life. Malcolm Merlin kind of made her like that. So I understand her reasoning completely. And so they're looking at this vigilante named Wild Dog. And my boy Curtis at the end of the show was like, because he got his ass whooped helping Oliver and Felicity look for Wild Dog. And so I think that Curtis want to learn how to fight. So he was like, I'll help you on one condition. You got to recruit me. And I was like, yeah, boy, my boy Mr. Terrific is coming through. I'm excited for that, too. They better not hold my boy Mr. Terrific. We already don't have that many black heroes out right now, man. They better do Mr. Terrific right. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not really that excited for another Team Arrow. I think that when it was Arrow and Diggle and Felicity, that was enough for me, because Diggle does work. You know, he got that military background. Homie can do work. But right now, you know what I'm saying, it's Oliver by himself. So it is what it is. But to be fair, I guess it makes sense that Oliver was by himself in like season 1 and 2, because that's when he was only going against like white collar criminals. So, you know, whatever. But now he's going against actual like street criminals. So I guess it makes sense for him to get some help. Another thing, going back to the Black Canary thing, they showed Cassidy, Black Canary's character, when she was in the hospital and she was on her dying bed, and she said something to Oliver, and it still rang to him, you know, when he finally decided that he wanted to go ahead and start trying to get some other vigilantes to come and help him. She said something on the lines of, "Don't let me be the last Black Canary." So either that means that somehow Katie Cassidy is coming back as Black Canary, or something is going to happen to where Black Siren didn't go back to Earth 2 and she's going to become the new Black Canary because she has actual powers, or it just simply means that they're just going to bring him some new vigilantes. I really hope that somehow, some way, Katie Cassidy's character comes back. Like maybe somebody found some old, you know, remnants of the Lazarus pit and they bring my girl back and she comes back as Black Canary. Because as a person who is like a fan of Green Arrow, at least on the surface, like I'm not like a hard-bodied Green Arrow fan, but I knew enough about Green Arrow before I started watching the show. Green Arrow is nothing without Black Canary, bro. They need to do her right. Like, bring her back. Like, they hold my girl, man. They hold her. But overall, very pleased with the way that they did Arrow, especially. I actually think that I liked Arrow's premiere better than The Flash, because I already told y'all, the last video I made about this comic book stuff, I said that if Arrow season 5 doesn't come back to form, your girl is done. I can't keep putting myself through this. So I was really, really happy to see Oliver getting down. I was like, look at my boy. So that's pretty much all I want to talk about today. Legends of Tomorrow is coming out tonight, actually, and I don't know if I'm gonna make a video about that. I might actually wait until I get all caught up on my Rebirth books. I'm gonna try to get them caught up over the weekend, because y'all know I work on weekends and I work 12-hour shifts. So I might try to catch up on Rebirth books while I'm at work and I get some free time. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up. Give it a share. Let me know how you feel in the comments below if you watching these shows too. Or if you reading the Rebirth books too. Let me know how you feel. So far, Rebirth is not disappointing me, man. And I'm excited. Like, my fangirl is on 100,000 right now. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.